What's going on, soul siblings? This is yours truly, the James Cardoza, owner, operator, creator of Patrick's, aka Ambassador Light, back at it again, reading from the Bible and the Daily Stoic. From Luke 16, 1 through 18. Jesus told this story to his disciples. There was a certain rich man who had a manager handling his affairs. One day, a report came that the manager was wasting his employer's money. So the employer called him in and said, "What's this I hear about you? Get your report in order because you are going to be fired." The manager thought to himself, "Now what? My boss has fired me. I don't have the strength to dig ditches, and I'm too proud to beg. I know how to ensure that I'll have plenty of friends who will give me a home when I am fired." So he invited each person who owed money to his employer to come and discuss the situation. He asked the first one, "How much do you owe him?" The man replied, "I owe him 800 gallons of olive oil." So the manager told him, "Take the bill and quickly change it to 400 gallons. "And how much money do you owe my employer?" he asked the next man. "I owe him 1,000 bushels of wheat," was the reply. Here, the manager said, "Take the bill and change it to 800 bushels. The rich man had to admire the dishonest rascal for being so shrewd. And it is true that the children of this world are more shrewd in dealing with the world around them than are the children of the light. Here's a lesson. You use your worldly resources to benefit others and to make friends. Then, when your possessions are gone, they will welcome you to eternal home. If you are faithful in little things, you will be faithful in large ones. But if you are dishonest in little things, you won't be honest with greater responsibilities. And if you are untrustworthy about worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of heaven? And if you are not faithful with other people's things, why should you be trusted with the things of your own? No one can serve two masters, for you will hate one and love the other. You will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and be enslaved to money. The Pharisees, who dearly loved their money, heard all this and scoffed at him. Then he said to them, "You like to appear righteous in public, but God knows your heart. What this world honors is detestable in the sight of God. Until John the Baptist, the law of Moses, and the messages of the prophets were your guides. But now the good news of the kingdom of God is preached, and everyone is eager to get in. But that doesn't mean that the law has lost its force. It is easier for heaven and earth to disappear than for the smallest point of God's law to be overturned." For example, a man who divorces his wife and marries someone else commits adultery. And anyone who marries a woman divorced from her husband commits adultery. So, 16:1 through 8, the stories of the manager and his employer and how he reduced how much people owed. Our use of money is good test of the lordship of Christ. Money belongs to God, not us. Let us use our resources wisely. Money can be used for good or evil. Let us use ours for good. Money has a lot of power. Let us use it carefully and thoughtfully. We must use our material goods in a way that will foster faith and obedience. (16:9) We are to make wise use of the financial opportunities we have, not to earn heaven, but to help people find Christ. If we use our money to help those in need or to help others find Christ, our earthly investment will bring eternal benefits. When we obey God's will, the unselfish use of possessions will follow. 10 and 11. Our integrity is often put on the line, and money matters. God calls us to be honest, even in smallest details. We could easily ignore heaven's riches are far more valuable than earthly wealth. But if we are not trustworthy with our money here, we will be unfit to handle the vast riches of God's kingdom. The Pharisees loved money in 1614. The Pharisees acted piously. John the Baptist ministry. One I'm curious about is the last one, 1618. For example, a man who divorces his wife and marries someone else commits adultery, and anyone who marries a woman divorced from her husband commits adultery. Most religious leaders of Jesus' day permitted a man to divorce his wife for nearly any reason. Jesus' teaching about divorce went beyond Moses, Deuteronomy 24, 1-4, stricter than any of the then current schools of thought. Jesus' teaching shocked his hearers. See Matthew 19:10. Just as they shake today's readers. Jesus says in no uncertain terms that marriage is a lifelong commitment. To leave your spouse for another person may be legal, but it is adultery in God's eyes. As you think about marriage, remember that God intends it to be a permanent commitment. Now, I know a lot of people out there that are married more than once. It reminds me of another story that someone asked Jesus, if a woman's married multiple times, who is she married to in heaven? And Jesus basically responded, is she in heaven? Not questioning that did her sin keep her out of heaven, but the important part was, did she make it to heaven? So, I don't know, guys. I'd love to hear some feedback from somebody who has a little more knowledge about the Bible. What are your thoughts on Luke 16:18? The Daily Stoic, August 16th. Anything can be an advantage. Just as the nature of rational things has given to each person their rational powers, so also gives us the power, just as nature turns to its own purpose, any obstacle or any opposition sets its place in the distant order and co-opts it. So every rational person can convert any obstacle into the raw material for their own purpose. At 5 feet 3 inches tall, Muggsy Bogues was the shortest player ever to play professional basketball. Throughout his career, he was snickered at, underestimated, and counted out. But Bugsy succeeded by turning his height into the very thing that made him nationally known. Some people looked at his size as a curse, but he saw it as a blessing. He found the advantage contained within it. In fact, on the court, small size has many advantages: speed and quickness, the ability to steal the ball from unsuspecting and significantly taller players, to say nothing of the fact that players just plain underestimated him. Could this approach not be useful in your life? What things do you think have been holding you back that in fact can be a hidden source of strength? Well, my friends, as always, take care. God bless. Remember who loves you.